All right. There he is. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
I am blessed. I'm alive. There are a lot of people that I know that are not alive anymore who are my
Mm.
age or younger.
Amen.
Um, I have my family. My daughter brings me joy. That's all I could ask for.
Another blessing too is to watch DeMar pull out of one hell of a situation, man. God, the fact that the NFL had the first responders there, like they have for every game,
Yes.
and and Stephen Ross, by the way, has taken it to another level, building a stinking hospital right on the facility, which
Not just every game, but every practice too,
yeah,
because
no, of course, every practice, but to take it to another level, Stephen Ross now has built a hospital right there.
it's not a hospital. It
Well,
is
you know what I
it,
mean. It's like
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
it's
but
like
still, if
it's a place where they could handle some stuff just in case it
No,
happens.
that's just for x-rays and rehab and treatment. But if something in an emergency case situation happened, they would be shooting that person to a hospital.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's and I got cared for by the first responders when I collapsed during the practice. So I'm extremely thankful and appreciative for my care. And I never really thought about it because I've covered the NFL for 15 years, and there's emergency personnel at every practice,
Yeah,
not just
man.
NFL but college, which shows you how dangerous the game is. You
Of
don't do
course.
it's not they don't have emergency care at basketball practices.
Oh no, yeah, well, no, not basketball practice, but games they do. But yes, you
Games
are
they
correct.
do, yes, but EMTs at basketball
No,
practice,
no,
that,
no, no,
that
no.
that's the case for football.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, yeah. It's true, and it's really smart to have it, and dangerous it is, but it's amazing because the miners don't have that. Police officers don't have that. You know what I'm saying? We could like start talking about window washers don't have that. There's a lot of like dangerous jobs all over the world that people don't realize. You know what I mean? There's a
Yeah.
lot of people making a lot less money doing all kind like the dude that or the woman that's walking up poles for FP&L. You know what I mean? Working with electrical wires.
Why did
Like
you
there's
choose a woman? Because I saw a woman the other day doing that job. Why did you just say a woman by it?
I
You
always
changed.
say I always say men or women for everything pretty much because unless I'm talking about football or something. Why?
Yeah,
Because I treat everybody equally because women do all kinds of jobs,
yeah,
nowadays. Now we're actually not as chauvinistic anymore and legally we've opened up and we've given other people opportunities, and women
I,
deserve the same kind of opportunities. So I'm just saying men or women that are doing like lifeguard, there's a lot of people that do very dangerous jobs every single day of their lives, you know what I'm saying? And it's just I'm just glad that DeMar was able to get through this whole thing. Now let me ask you, I am not with this whole thing of canceling the game. I disagree in canceling this game. um Omar, for me there's a dead week in the Super Bowl anyways.
no,
Nobody's bought tickets to travel, so you're not screwing any fans over. Nobody knows what the playoff seedings are right now, all of that. So why not play the games this week? Next week, make it the Bills and the Bengals. Make it a big weekend and celebrate and all that. It's a monster game. Your
you
ratings
know
will go
why
through the
not?
roof.
You know
And
why
you can
not?
also, by the way, as they told me yesterday, you could also hold the wild card round at the same time because that game doesn't affect the wild card round. And then the following week, everything falls into place.
You know why not? Because for the 4 hours that you would be putting that one game on national television, you would be reliving the DeMar Hamlin situation for 4 hours,
I
reminding
know.
people that a player nearly died on the
And,
field.
and what's going to happen when they meet in the playoffs, doggy?
Listen, the NFL is all about turning the page.
I get it.
This was
You're
a
right.
PR. This was while they turned it into something the best case scenario that it could have been. A player literally was not unconscious but lifeless on the field.
Right. Right.
You
On a
saw
by the way, on a freakish thing. It
you
really
saw his teammates break down crying in distress. Not teammates, but the other players on the field. They're crying. And
yeah.
then you say, "Oh, we're going to resume the game in 15 minutes." And then the coaches have to come out and say, "No, we're not." And And then you say, oh, okay, no, we're not. And then it becomes a
No, I
week.
get it, but Cincinnati and Buffalo may meet in the playoffs.
Okay,
So
when they
you
meet,
will
the
relive
NFL,
it again anyways, whether you
you know
like
what
it
the
or
NFL
not.
needs to do? The NFL needs to turn their page and say, don't look over there, look over here. Our games are entertaining. You like this gladiator sport. People might die, but you really like it. It's entertaining. Look over here. Don't look over here. Don't look at
Like ESPN is doing with Dana White slapping his wife. I got you. I understand.
don't just call out ESPN. Every media outlet is doing what
Every
Dana
media
White.
outlet is
Every media.
cowardly avoiding Dana White slapping his wife twice, by the way. Twice.
She hit him first. Not that makes it better. Nobody,
that doesn't make a
nobody
difference.
should be putting their hands on anybody.
No, I know that, but
people always ignore that part too.
You and I know a woman ain't doing shit to me by slapping me. Okay,
it don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter.
It's Layla Ali. Unless it's Layla Ali who might knock my ass
It's
out.
a behavior thing. Nobody should be putting their hands on anybody.
I get that, but my point is, you still Jay-Z the bitch. Okay,
it don't listen.
Solange can go crazy. She can be hitting you all you want, but you gotta be Jay-Z. You gotta rise above it.
I don't.
No matter what.
We've
you know I'm right.
Too,
you know I'm right.
For multiple reasons. We've avoided it on series 2 for multiple reasons.
No, but you know I'm right. You got to be Jay-Z, not Dana White.
No, you don't have to be anything. Nobody should be putting their hands on anybody. Man,
I get that, Omar, but if it happens,
it's not okay. None of it's okay.
I never said it was okay. I just said men don't hit back.
Nope.
That's all.
Nobody should be putting their hands on anybody.
It does,
and it's not excusing,
but it happens. And if a woman goes a little crazy,
it shouldn't happen. That's like me saying men put their hands on women. It happens.
No. See, you're not listening to me. It can't happen. Men don't put hands on women. You're not that. That's not the rule. That's not the way.
Women shouldn't put hands on men.
They shouldn't.
Not acceptable.
They shouldn't.
Not excusing it. Nobody should put hands on anybody.
But if they do, you act like Jay-Z, is my point. That's all I'm saying. If they do, you act like Jay-Z. That's what a gentleman does. Okay? I don't care why she got crazy. If he was cheating on what's her name? Damn it, what's her name? What's his wife's name? Brain farting now. What's her? Beyonce. So if she's pissed because he was cheating on Beyonce, whatever. Okay, whatever he was wronged for or whatever, I don't know. I don't know what the hell was going on. But Solange is going crazy. You just hold her. You just try to calm it down, but you're never the person that loses the cool. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Because that to me is what a man is supposed to do, because women aren't going to hurt you, bro. Give me a break.
Woman isn't supposed to be hitting you. Women isn't
I know that, but she's not going to hurt you either by slapping you or whatever. Oh, give me a break.
It does not matter. It does not matter.
It's a gnat.
It does not matter.
I get it, but don't lose your cool if you're a man for that. You know,
when you excuse, when you do what most people are doing, which is excusing her behavior while chastising him.
I'm not excusing her. I get it.
It's not.
I get it, but he's more at fault than she is.
There's nobody more at fault. It's not okay to put your hands on your spouse.
Twice, bro.
Whether woman or man.
Twice. And by the way, that exchange there, I can tell that ain't the first time that exchange has happened. That's for sure, because that was too casual there, bro. Way too casual. That's all I'm going to say. But, cowards at ESPN. This is why I'm glad I'm on my own and I'm not tied to any corporate assholes, because then, you can't talk about what? Get out of here, bro. I have. No. ESPN would have had a problem with me on that one, but because I would not have been able to stay quiet on that. Anyway, your thoughts on the game this week? What do you think?
Skylar Thompson against Joe Flacco. It's sexy.
Riveting.
Riveting. I don't see any excuse why the Dolphins shouldn't be able to win this game. I'm sure everybody will say, oh, they shouldn't, they won't be able to win this game because they got a 7th-round quarterback. The San Francisco 49ers are about to go to the Super Bowl with a 7th-round quarterback.
Yeah,
So,
completely different situation. Completely different situation. Quarterback here has to do a lot more than there. There you have a dominant defense that
you
controls
got
the
a lot of
score.
weapons here.
You have a running game that is consistent passing and running with Christian. You have a dominant tight end.
Don't make
You have
excuses.
you have two wide receivers. You have a much better offensive line. All you have to do is facilitate in San Francisco. In Miami, you
have to do is facilitate here.
Nah, you have to do a little more. You don't have a consistent running game. You don't have a coach that sticks to your running game. You don't have an offensive line that is necessarily
be, bro. That's what this guy's supposed to be. And I'm not a fire Mike McDaniel guy.
No, me neither. Me neither.
But
although he's shown, some chinks in the armor.
He's not a genius as he's portrayed to be.
Which he's a young. I think I would call him a young genius. I think sometimes he outsmarts himself. That's what I would call him.
I think, and if I'm allowed the opportunity to be candid, one of the things that I was very uncomfortable with about the Mike McDaniel hire.
Well, you called to a weirdo, so you could get as candid as you want. Go ahead.
Did I do that with you, or did I do that somewhere else?
You did it yeah. I know you have no memory, but yes, you did it right here on this show.
Okay, that's what it was.
All right, I'm off the beat.
Let me humbly apologize for calling Tua a weirdo. He's different. He's unique.
I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant, but it just came out terrible.
I was never comfortable with Mike McDaniel being forced a defensive coordinator and a special teams coach and a defensive staff.
But you know why they did that, right? Because he's a new coach and he probably doesn't have all the connections.
I don't care. He can hire his own people. If he wanted to retain them, he wasn't given the option.
Right. I get it. I get it.
Not okay with me. Because
I get it, but I think that's what will happen.
Finish what I'm saying, Big O. Because when the heat on the pot starts heating up and our butts are on fire, I need to know these guys are loyal to me and don't have a fight or flight and have more of a fight response than a flight response. And special teams and defense, the two guys that he had to inherit because they were snitches and disloyal to the last staff, really performed drastically below expectation to what was the expectation. Whether you can say it was injuries, whether you could say you could blame it on whatever. If this team doesn't make it to the playoffs, there will, because they are riding a, what would it be, 6-game losing streak, or if they win the game, the only thing that will stop them from making the playoffs is the Patriots making the playoffs, which would be a complete travesty because the Patriots are trash, but they would have to beat the Bills, which I think the Bills are about to beat the brakes off them. So
yes, they are. Yeah.
You ultimately really control your own destiny. Yes, you don't have your starting quarterback. Yes, you don't have your number 2 quarterback, but you have Skylar Thompson, who's been in this offense. You've got a week of practice. He's a young guy who, at the end of the season, everybody was talking about, oh, man, we got something special here, including myself, because I really liked him. I liked what I saw in training camp.
He's a youngin', bro. I mean, give me a break.
So was Tua at this point last year. He's a youngin'. No, not at this point. 2 years ago, Tua was a youngin' when he took over as a starting quarterback. There should be no excuse why they don't win this game. With the exception of the Jets have a ridiculously good defense and Skylar Thompson can get his face kicked in, especially if that offensive line isn't up to snuff. And we all know Teron Armstead has to play. And I think he will play because he's been toughing it out all season. Yeah. If they don't get it done, then I think you're going to have to fire at least 2 coordinators and start fresh, start the way that you should have started, which is been able to hire your own staff.
I
So
think they just did it for continuity purposes for the first year to not put that whole burden on a
why do you
rookie
need
coach.
continuity? Why?
Well,
What what
because
what good did
because
continuity do you on
because
special
you were
teams?
you were you were hoping that you would have some continuity on that side of the ball so you can actually get,
This
production out of it.
organization, I've covered this organization for 15 years. They haven't done SHIT for continuity in 15 years when they fired people. And
No,
even
no,
if they did,
I know the human Jenga thing doesn't work out. I get all of that. I understand all of that. But you're talking about a coach that's never done it. So it's really hard for them to find all the
I
proper
think he
coaches.
would have been way more than capable of hiring his own defensive staff or hiring
I don't know.
Vic
I
Fangio,
don't know
which he
that.
wanted to do and really wasn't allowed to do. And by hiring Vic Fangio and Vic Fangio bringing or building his defensive staff,
But
it's
that
not
but
okay.
my point is for whatever reason he retired anyway. So I don't really know what the deal is. Even if he doesn't come back this year, your story is complete bullshit. Just so you'll know.
Listen,
If he comes back this year, you have something.
Vic
And that's for
Fangio is
all,
probably
and
going to
not
go
just
with
you,
Sean
not
Payton.
just you, but I want to send this message to everybody out there that mentioned Fangio. Fangio better come back this year to play.
Hold
Because
on.
if he
Time
doesn't,
out. Let's
then
talk
he
about
does
Fangio.
it. He
Give me a
retired
second.
last year and
Let,
nothing. He was never coming here. He was never
let's
going
talk about
anywhere.
Fangio. No, hold
Retired.
on. Time out. Let's talk about Fangio since we're gonna go down this rabbit hole. Vic Fangio, why would he work when the Denver Broncos already owe him, I believe, 2 years of his salary,
That's
and
fine.
he can get that pay? I never understood this concept of why guys go work for free when their contracts feature offset language, which means whatever they're making is going to be taken off what the Denver Broncos owe them. So, yeah, take a year to reset, take a year to do whatever. But Fangio is looking for the right situation, the right opportunity, and he might be waiting on Sean Payton, and from what I've heard. And so if he goes with Sean Payton, great. If Sean Payton doesn't decide to coach again and Fangio decides to sit out another year till Sean Payton's coaching, okay, say la vie. I don't know Vic Fangio personally. I don't know what his plans are. I don't know whether his wife likes him
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
waking
saying.
up
It's just
next to
all
him.
hot air.
I say the same thing about Sean Payton. Sean Payton's making what, 10 million a year doing television, where you work 20 weeks out the year, and get paid $11 million, and you basically do a 3-day work week for $11 million, and everybody's so certain that after burnout, you're just going to go hop into the next job because you miss football so goddamn much.
Well, he's not going to come back unless he gets a quarterback. That's why he stepped away. Come on,
bro. Yeah, I mean, hold on. Let that man. That man is probably enjoying the hell out of life right now. You make $11 million working 3 days out the week for 20 weeks.
Not really, man. Not really, Omar. Sometimes people want to do what they love to do, bro, and they don't feel as productive. Even it's not like he really needs the money. I'm sure he has plenty of money in the bank.
Yeah.
So
But
and if he goes to work again, he'll get that money back when he goes to work again for somebody else. So don't assume that. I think everybody's wired differently. Some people like to do what they do, man. You know what I mean? They have a passion.
But that's why he left his burnout, right? I mean, and burnout.
He had no quarterback. He was going to run into a
but
wall.
He's been talking about burnout for a little while. I mean, you can't trust me. It wears on you. The man went through a divorce. Like life happened. Like, take a minute to reset your life. Like, you don't have to be one-off season. You're making $11 million doing TV. Why would you go do work for what, 13, 14 million dollars to work 60, 70-hour weeks?
They love it. That's their thing, bro. I think he's coming back when he finds the right spot with the right quarterback. And that's what it is. I don't think Peyton wants to come back to run into walls again with, if he doesn't have the QB, he saw what life was like without Drew Brees, and it was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this shit. And so I think that's why he stepped away.
You're a QB master. You're the predominant quarterback whisperer. Go make you a new QB.
Yeah. And by the way, you also have to go somewhere because you also have to trade for him. So either he goes right back to New Orleans with a plan.
I wonder how long they own his rights. Like, How is there like a statute of limitation?
I think they owe his rights because he's got a couple years left on the deal. So he would have to wait a couple of years until that contract expires. Once the contract expires, then he becomes a free agent. But while they're paying him, okay, if
No,
they're
they're not
paying
paying
him,
him.
okay, so that if they're not paying him,
No, but
then then it's on hold until he comes back. Whenever he comes back, you have to trade for him then. Because if there's no buyout, then there's no freedom from that contract. They own your rights.
I'm gonna have
wherever he goes, that's why the rumor is he and Brady go back to New Orleans. And by the way, it makes a lot of sense because Dennis Allen then goes back to being defensive coordinator because nobody's going to give Dennis Allen a head coaching job. So maybe that's what happens. What's up, Sean? What do you got? Breaking news?
Per Pro Football Talk, the Saints hold Peyton's contractual rights at least through 2024.
Wow. So 2 more years. So there you go. So you have to not only you have to trade for him and pay him. That's a lot. So the rumor is he goes back to New Orleans with Tom Brady.
I don't see that happening.
I don't know,
but I could
whatever. All right, what'd you think of the report this week that Mike McDaniel's job is on the line? You buying it?
No, because the one thing that Steve Ross has really hated during his tenure as the executive of as the owner of the Miami Dolphins is hiring people, and he's very resistant to firing people. He's not going to do it after one season. Not going to happen.
Right. Yeah. The assistant coaches stuff, that's automatic.
He literally hates hiring people. So he doesn't like the scrutiny, doesn't like the process.
Plus, this isn't a Cam Cameron-like year or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
There's been a lot of good. It's just there was a lot of bad.
I mean, you could really justify the collapse, which, should they have pulled off a victory against Green Bay? Absolutely. Tua was through 3.
Buffalo was the most winnable game of them all.
Nah.
What are you talking about, bro? Tyreek and Sherfield dropped a touchdown. Braylon Sanders didn't run for a touchdown. The head coach goes for a 2-point conversion early in that game. The defense gets you a turnover in the fourth quarter, and on 3rd and 1, you decide to pass the ball instead of run the ball.
It's a Super Bowl champion on their turf in difficult elements.
Won that game. That game should have been won by the Dolphins.
Super Bowl champion in difficult elements. I just don't see that. But okay, San Fran was going to beat the snot out of you. They did that, even with.
Oh yeah, no, that one you lost badly.
Chargers. Okay, you got out.
You had it. You had that one too. You could have had that one. That was a 1-score game, bro.
It's not like Buffalo. Then the Packers. Then last week to the goddamn Patriots. It's it is what it is, man. It's not like they got blown out. And in the earlier stretch, you lost your starting quarterback.
Well, they never get blown out. Yeah. That doesn't happen at all. They're always in every game.
San Fran was kind of a blowout.
Yeah, but that one, and it was still a pretty close score. But yeah, they kicked their ass. That one was like they dominated you. Well, it's also Tua was like, wow, he was bad that day. He was like catastrophically bad that day. You got to give San Fran credit. They stifled the hell out of the coach and Tua on that one.
There's no reason that you shouldn't finish the season with a winning record. There's no reason that you should not be the Jets with Joe Flacco as a starting quarterback. Joe Flacco is probably the worst starting quarterback in the NFL right now. I would put him behind Purdy and Stidham. Joe Flacco, and I'm a Joe Flacco fan from back in the day, but Joe Flacco is a very predictable quarterback.
He's old now, bro. I mean, he's done now.
He's big player check down, and so there's no in between. So prevent the big play, defend the check down, you win. Like, get pressure on him, rattle him, hit him a couple of times. He'll check down more often. It's not a hard formula to put together here. So to me, this game, as I've always said, and we've argued this for a number of weeks, this game comes down to a defensive performance, and hopefully they don't play like booty cheeks.
Let's hope so. What do you got going on I Am Athlete so folks can check you out?
We're getting ready to launch our season. We're doing, obviously, I just put up a video from the radio show that we did on Brandon Flowers, who joined us for the first time this week, and talking about concussions and how it ended his career. He brought up Tua as well in that conversation, and how Tua should really be more, because Brandon Flowers had a number of series of concussions that basically convinced him that it was time to go. One thing that he really said to on the show, which I'm going to retweet the link to the podcast, was that every time he had a concussion, his focus was no longer about football. It was about getting back to his family, seeing his kids, trying to short-term memory stuff, trying to get my head back to normal. And the more he had it, the more he started to think about the end. And it really just started to make me think about Tua. And I'm not one of those people who sit here and say Tua should never play the game again, or Tua,
he shouldn't play this season. He shouldn't play this season.
I actually don't agree with that as well. But I can understand where people are coming from. I have migraines.
Give him time to recover for the rest of the offseason. Start him fresh next year. And if he doesn't want to learn how to get rid of the football, then, well, his career will be really short in the league.
I've always said his career is going to be shorter than it should be, but it's not. He's not a big quarterback. He's small. He's shown you he's got durability issues, but that doesn't mean he can't be dynamic during that run. And the question is, how long will that run be? And I'm not of the opinion that this is something that's major, but everybody else is got their PhD in head trauma. So
you can make it major if you continue to play them and mount the in a short amount of time, mount the concussion. So that's why I would, that Nowinski guy convinced me. He's a concussion expert. He's a former player. And he pointed out that Sidney Crosby, who's had 7-8 concussions already, every time he gets a concussion, he takes a significant time off to recover from it before he gets on the ice again. And dude, he plays hockey, which is probably worse than football, than a quarterback. That's for sure. Because you're checked into walls all the goddamn time in hockey. I mean, it is brutal. If that guy's had like 7 or 8 concussions already, but Nowitzki says, hey, you got to give it time to heal. And I think we have to look at the Buffalo one like it was one. And then the other 2, we got to kind of look at it like he had 3. Dude, don't risk a 4th one in a season. Just let him rest for the rest of the season. I'm with you. I don't think it's a big thing long term. But I think if you allow him to suffer another one, you could risk something becoming a bigger issue. Look, Jordan Reed, and even Tua, this 3rd one here, bro, that was a regular tackle. That was a normal tackle in the NFL. And so it reminds me of Jordan Reed, the tight end from Florida. He had 10 concussions, but his concussions would happen easier and easier and easier as it went on because they're mounting. And I think that that's what you've got to stay away from. And that's the only reason I would keep him off the field for the remainder of this season. That's all I'm saying. So, all right. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly, and of course, catch him at I Am Athlete. We'll talk to you next week, my brother. Appreciate you, man. Have a great week.
You too.
You got it. There you go. The great Omar Kelly with our Miami Dolphins Essential Moving Experts, Miami Dolphins Exchange. And of course, call my friends at Essential Moving Experts. When we talk about Sean Williams, we talk about local moving services nationally. You call my friends at essentialmovingexperts.com. They will get it done. Sean Williams has been at this for a long time, baby, and they know how to get it done. Go to essentialmovingexperts.com. They are the best movers in the country. So they're stationed in Daytona, by the way. I was going to say Doral. In Daytona, and they service the entire country. All right. So it's not just because sometimes we have some sponsors that are locally here in South Florida. We have national sponsors like Slomin's Home Shield, and we have Essential Moving Experts, which of course are also national sponsors. Go to essentialmovingexperts.com if you're moving your home or your business. Tell them that Big O sent you, and they will take care of you.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.